All right, everybody, it is about 10 o'clock on this Tuesday evening. I want to give you an update on what's happening with the radar as activity's picking up just a bit. And if you're watching our previous broadcast, remember that really narrow line I was talking about? Yeah, it's starting to edge eastward. And because of that little line, it's prompted a severe thunderstorm warning over a small portion of our viewing area in DeKalb County. But we're going to track that line for you and show you why it's going to be both windy before, during, and after that. So it's not like your typical squall line that rolls on by and it gets windy and that's over. It's a little different. And of course, that wind coming in from a slightly different direction from the southeast, it may sound different outside. It may bring down limbs in other areas that aren't affected by a westerly wind. So it's a little bit different out there, the wind speeds out there. So we do know, and I'm going to show you the wind gusts area-wide, that as we focus on this storm warning, we know area-wide the gusts are strong. Anywhere between 35 to 45, but gusts a little bit stronger in other spots. So we're tracking those for you, and we'll try to cover as much as we can. And we're also keeping updates on the president's speech. I'll stay here until our News Channel 9 at 11 broadcast begins. When it does that, we'll have to shift over to on air and then come back here to the stream after News Channel at 11, but it may be delayed because of the president's speech. Okay. Just want to let you know that. All right. Thanks everybody for watching and for watching our previous live streams. You can like my Facebook page if this has been shared to you. Also like my YouTube channel, subscribe. You'll get more notifications. We have updates like this as well. So let me reduce my picture. There you go. You'd rather see more of these maps anyway. Want to thank those watching right now. We have Kayla watching. Hello, Mandy. Hello, Robin. Hello, Destiny. Talking about how crazy the winds are out there, and indeed they are. All right, folks, this is the line that we're watching. If you're watching our previous broadcast earlier on this evening, it's that narrow line right there, and there's a slight break in it there. You got to watch when it breaks off a little bit. Sometimes you have some strong gusts near the tail end, and then especially where this line bows out a little bit. So because of this and where this kind of breaking a bit, they have a new warning out, which covers large area from Coleman to about, say, just west of Crossville, Alabama, and right near the border of Jackson County. But as far as the warning locally, it mainly covers that southwestern part of DeKalb County till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. And again, that's for wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour, and it's hightailing it to the east at about 50 miles an hour. So let me take that warning off. We'll put a tracker on this for you. Those who know this, we call it jokingly our bacon tracker. You'll know why in a second if you're not familiar with that. But we track this line right here. We're going to go even where the break is. Right about here. Moving east at 50. So the main threat with this is straight line winds. Okay. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, strong straight line winds that peak above severe levels, which is about 58 miles an hour. In this case, 60. So you can expect some straight line winds near Albertville, Gadsden, and then especially Rainsville here in DeKalb County at about 11 Eastern, 10:02 Central. Okay. So that means that line will be getting into Jackson and DeKalb during the 11 o'clock hour Eastern time, which would put it roughly near Chattanooga, what's left of this around midnight-ish. Okay, which is very close to what our high-res models were showing. Okay, but that's going to be very close to around that time as it moves on through. And then we'll keep an eye on this, of course, if it holds together for parts of Walker, Chattooga, Floyd, which these areas, again, had the higher chance for some severe storms. But again, it's mainly straight line winds with that. Let's take a look inside that. Look for any rotation. I think it's mainly straight line winds. We'll take a look. This is our velocity scan. We're able to look inside that. You can see right where that break is, right there. But again, move the scope just a little bit, and you can see it's basically just kind of like going in a straight line. Changes from blue to orange, or excuse me, blue to green. I can't see my colors right. Blue to green, straight line winds, and the same thing up along that line this way. Let's move this toward Huntsville just a little bit. And again, yeah, mainly straight line. You see a clear cut right there from green to red. So mainly straight line winds along that. But again, even before that line approaches, let me just zoom out. It's windy everywhere. Okay, it's windy here. It's windy within this line. It's windy behind it. But right along that narrow line, it's going to cause a slight uptick. So locally right now, we're seeing gusts between 30, 40. That line moves by and it jumps a gust between 50 and 60. And it comes back down between 30 and 40 again. that's how it's going to be during the night. So unlike a typical squall line that just moves on in, there's big winds and it goes away, this will be different. Okay, it's going to be windy even behind it, even some stronger gusts overnight without any rain occurring. That's what we call non-storm wind gust. And that's what we've been warning you about, that there was going to have two layers here to this weather alert, would be the wind gust and then a few wind gusts inside any storms that roll on by. But it's a very narrow line with those storms. Most everything else out here is not severe. It's windy and rainy, yes, not good for travel, but it's mainly around that narrow line where you can have a slight jump in those gusts. Let me back this up a little bit, and we'll show the wind gust over the past hour. I think these are just updated after the 10 o'clock hour. There we go. Well, that's the wind advisory. That's okay. We'll show that too. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, we just got a new one that includes Jackson County. I'll go back to that momentarily. But high wind warning here along the plateau, all of our plateau counties, gusts up to 40 to 60. Of course, out here, higher terrain, those high peaks, 3 and over 5,000 feet, eastern Monroe County, Cherry-Haley Skyway area up to 70. Even across northwest Georgia, especially the mountaintops, ridge tops around 2,000 feet or so, gusts as high as 55. This is not associated with storms. With storms, could reach out about 60 or so. And let me take a look at this new warning for Jackson County. That's severe thunderstorm warning out till 10:45 Eastern time. And I'll show you radar coming up. That is wind gusts up to 60. And that is moving northeast at 45. They just had a recorded wind gust at the Huntsville airport at 61 miles an hour. So it's right along that narrow line that rolls on by. Again, it's about 58. That puts it at severe levels. The reason why the severe thunderstorm warning is issued. Again, that's for Jackson County. That's more specifically the far southern end of the county till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central. Now let me show you some of the gusts out there. This is as of the 10 o'clock hour. These gusts between 25 over 35, some close to 40. Look at Crosville up to 60. So if you live on any ridgetop or mountaintop locally, the winds are howling. If you live on Lookout, I noticed one comment said it's spooky up there. It's about right. Yeah. If this is October, it'd be really spooky with the wind and rain out there. But that's indeed, these wind gusts are very, very strong, even well in advance of that very narrow line. And it's also causing, I'm sure, power outages as well. So be sure to, if you have power, keep your mobile device fully charged until that time. If you lose power, therefore you can still watch our live streams. You can keep up to date with any alerts that go out. Be sure to download the free Storm Track 9 app. Have your location services turned on. You'll get alerts if there are any severe thunderstorm warnings. But I want you to know that even if there are no warnings issued, it's still going to be dangerously windy overnight because these wind gusts are strong enough to bring down trees, cause future power outages and property damage. So do be aware of that, even aside from any storms. Now let's go and take a look at that other severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. Is on this northern flank. There's actually two flanks to that line now. I mentioned where it's split. Right here, which this part of the line is going to the southern DeKalb. This part of the line is going toward Jackson, and they just had at the Huntsville airport a wind gust of 61. Okay. So again, in advance of this, it's 35, 45 to 50. Right along that line, 60. Even back behind here, you still have gusts 35 to 45. So it's a different sort of beast that we're dealing with tonight with the storms rolling on by. And if you add heavy rain to that, softens the ground. The gusts we get after the rain moves out can bring down a tree more easily. Just speculating there, but just thinking out loud and letting you know sort of the dangers here involved with this system. So I don't think Scottsboro per se is under that warning. No, it is areas south and west of Scottsboro, near Woodville, right along that area of the southwestern part of Jackson County. Again, that's that severe thunderstorm warning out till 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central, mainly for the risk of damaging wind gust up to 60 miles an hour. Let's put a tracker on that one for you. We'll track this line right here. It's a bit squiggly. Where it gets squiggly, though, you can get a quick spin up along it or some stronger gust. All right, there's the movement in the next hour. So right now the time is 9:14 Central, 10:14 Eastern. So notice these arrival times are all in the Central time. So Stevenson around just after 11 Eastern. Scottsboro around 9:57 Central, close to 11 Eastern. So we can kind of speculate that that line will be right about here, which could include Franklin, parts of Marion, close to 11 o'clock. And that would put it in Chattanooga somewhere around midnight-ish. And again, the main threat here is just an elevation of those straight line wind speeds. So anything that's been sort of knocked around as far as tree limbs, knocked around from one direction, then you get a wind gust coming in from another direction can cause some trees to be down there. That's our main concern is straight line wind gust. Not a lot of lightning and thunder with this. There's occasionally some lightning, but not much. There's been more lightning down to the south. You go way down here, this stronger part of the line, Aniana, Gadsden, and areas near Clay. This is just north of Birmingham. That's where you have stronger claps of thunder and a lot more lightning. So a little more energy to deal with there. So I would say from, say, Somerville south, it can be dealing a little bit stronger as that line rolls on in. Let's see. Heather saying winds picking up in 10 Mile. Let's see. Windy in Madisonville. Sherry says it's very windy in Cleveland. Jacqueline says, or excuse me, Joycelyn says very windy in Northwest Georgia. Thanks everybody for your reports. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And notice again, this will not last all night long. I think beyond 2 a.m., 2 to 3, it'll be exiting off to the east and will be dry, but there are still strong wind gusts back here. In fact, let me show you the whole scope of this storm system. This is really fascinating to watch. I don't call it cool by any stretch of imagination. It's just fascinating from a weather point of view. But it's typical for March during this transition time of year. We're starting to warm, still battling the cold air. You got this big area of low pressure right there. It is deep and it's strong and it's deepening. So the pressure is lowering. That's what we're feeling right now. It's a lowering of the pressure, that pressure gradient from high pressure retreating to the east and low pressure coming in. And I mentioned the wind speeds coming in from a different direction. These are gusts coming in from the southeast. Typically, we get more strong gusts from the southwest and west. It's coming from the southeast. So the wind may sound different to you. It may be pushing trees in a different direction that we're typically seeing with the other directional wind speeds. But we've got this line of storms far outpacing the cold front. So it's racing well past its energy. So the farther east it moves farther away from the energy. The reason why we're kind of just dealing with rain and just a very narrow line of severe storms and not a major line of severe storms. But closer to this warm front here, there's a little more energy to deal with the heating. So south of this warm front from Birmingham south, there's more energy there. But for us, it's kind of outpacing the energy. Then you got this front that's going to roll by. That'll happen overnight. Okay. And then tomorrow, we're going to be windy. It's going to be in this part, windy in between these two fronts. So it'll be initially tomorrow, not cold, being pretty mild in the 50s. But then when this front passes by during the afternoon, then it gets colder. Okay. Then the high pressure builds in. So we got to deal with the winds around that. So this low is deepening to a point. It could be as strong as a similar pressure to a low end hurricane. So that's strong. It will track this way north and east and pinwheel around these two fronts our way. Once we get past this front tomorrow, it starts cooling off and you see these snow showers back here. I'm telling you, parts of the plateau tomorrow will be surprising. See some snow photos coming in from our usual higher elevated spots from Mount Eagle, Tracy City, Pikeville, parts of Sequatchie County on the plateau. Might see a little bit of snow there. That's tomorrow night. And typical for March, right? Am I right? You lived around long enough. I'm 58, grew up here. March is always a different sort of month. Anyway, that explains the situation that we're dealing with as far as the type of weather we're dealing with. Here's our high-res model. This updates every hour. So notice you've got that line, that very narrow line around 11 o'clock. Right there, right along the Franklin-Jackson County line. I think it's going to be a little farther east, but it shows that narrow line getting close to Chattanooga, I would say right around midnight. So right around midnight, we could have some higher gust, straight line gusts with the heavy rain. And then you get 2 to 3, it starts pushing away to the east of I-75. So deep into the overnight, the rain's over, but it's still going to be very windy through that time. Again, here's the future track that kind of illustrates everything I talked about with the forecast. Around midnight, and I really think, look at this time here, I think this line at midnight is going to be more lining up right here. I think it's outpacing the model based on its trend right now. And right where that wind shift line is where you're going to have that chance for some stronger gust. But either way, and again, I think around 3 o'clock, it'll be exiting Eastern Murphy. So deep into the overnight, showers in. There might be a little bit of sun to start tomorrow morning as that first front rolls by. Then as the second front rolls by tomorrow afternoon, see, it's still mild. See that southwest wind coming in? This is Wednesday late morning, around lunchtime. Kind of coolish, but not bad. Mid-50s. Then we go toward the afternoon. Much colder, 30s and 40s by the afternoon. So tomorrow, when you go to work and school, a couple of things. Have an umbrella, because showers for the afternoon. Have a coat. Have some layers. May not be bad early, but by late day, you got temperatures there, 30s and 40s, and even a few snowflakes mixed in late day. But here's where it gets interesting. Oh, come back here. Hit the wrong button. Here's where it gets interesting. Tomorrow evening, through the overnight hours, see all that blue showing up? When you have a flow coming in from the northwest like this, you can easily get snow showers right here along the plateau. Even some flurries into the valley, but with above freezing temperatures, not too much of a problem. But here, a half-inch to inch, not out of the question in these areas. We typically see that with systems like this, and a bit more of the very high terrain along the Tennessee-North Carolina border. That continues all the way through early Thursday morning, and the rest of Thursday is drier, not as windy. So that's in a nutshell what we're watching for the next 24 to 36 hours. Now, again, before we go back to the radar, just want to show you again, everybody, it's windy out there. And let me repeat this. It's not just a situation where we've got a severe storm occurring. So it's just going to be one line of storms coming by and that's it for the wind. No, it's windy now. It could be slightly windier with that narrow line coming in and then still windy behind it. So we still have wind advisories even through tomorrow. So, tomorrow afternoon, you're going to be like, how much longer this wind? That's how it's going to kind of be with the system moving in. But wind gusts as of the 10 o'clock hour, 30 over 40, like a Crossville near 60 miles an hour. 44 was the peak gust at Level Field during the afternoon today. All right, let's go to the radar view and show you the warnings out there, which you can see on our screen. I believe it's still there. Actually, that warning is about to expire there. Didn't it expire? Let's take it down. Well, it should still be there. Anyway, I'm going to stay live on this feed until our 11 o'clock newscast starts. But if the president's still speaking, it may delay that time. So we'll stay on a little bit longer. Anyway, we have two warnings locally at the moment. It's mainly for areas, maybe borderlining our viewing area, but far southern DeKalb County, this warning out to 10:30 Eastern. They may extend that because it hasn't reached there yet. And then this warning for this line right here that rode through Huntsville caused a gust of 61 for this part of Jackson County, southwest of Scottsboro. And even advanced that line is very windy. But right along this line, it's a little stronger here, Arab to Albertville. That's a little bit stronger with that line. That's advancing toward DeKalb County. So I think more between 9:30 and 10 Central will be approaching that part of DeKalb County. Now, a new warning issued. This is outside the viewing area, but it shows you that they're starting to issue warnings now in advance of this line. So this includes from Aniana to Gadsden into Etowah County. And it borders Calhoun County. There's Jacksonville, Alabama. That's where Jacksonville State University is, my alma mater. In case you wanted to know, go Jack State right there. But anyway, Etowah County's here. So that line approaching Etowah County, that warning there in effect, I believe, until 11:45 Eastern. So if they're issuing warnings there, I have a feeling that this one might get extended here into DeKalb County. Right there. So we'll keep an eye on that part of Jackson. So heads up in Fort Payne with that line approaching. I think it's going to stay maybe trending from Fort Payne south. So Crossville, areas along Highway 11 and I-59. We'll keep an eye on that. This northern line is not as strong. It's much more narrow. but nevertheless caused a gust at the Huntsville airport of around 61. And again, it's closing in locally on Franklin, other parts of Jackson, and eventually Marion in the next hour. So I would say closer to 11:30 or so. Elsewhere locally, showers, although it's battling a lot of dry air. So it's taken it a while to get here, but none of this is severe locally. Yes, it's windy. Yes, you have rain added to that, but no, it's not severe at the moment. It's below severe levels, but still these gusts are 35, 45, and 50. And I'm noticing everybody's comments is pretty scary. Yeah, it is. So, try to stay in your house. If you know you got a leaning tree close to your house, and you know it's near one side of the house, you might want to get to another side of the house a little bit safer, during the night because these strong winds. And bring your pets inside as well. It's scary for them also. Emerald says Fort Oglethorpe has horrible wind. Cynthia says scary here in Dayton with the wind. Gracie Latruss says hurricane strength winds outside. Yeah, it's possible in some. Could get as high as 60 to 70 some spots. Georgeland said this better not be like 93 when we got a blizzard. No. Totally different situation. That one was moving along the coastline. This is a little bit different. Not dealing with that. Lexa, no tornado warnings yet with this. It's mainly straight line winds for now. We'll let you know if anything changes. Rachel says scary straight line winds in Bradley County, Bell Road area. Juanita says scary bad winds in Wood Station. David and Shannon Smith says power out in Birchwood. Kimberly says no power in Flintstone. So it's affecting many, many areas. All it takes is one big limb. That's it. Knocks out power around. All right, we've just had an extension of that severe thunderstorm warning. And we're just talking about that. And there it is. That includes a larger part of Jackson and DeKalb County. And that's going to be out until 11:30 Eastern time. Again, this is for the southern part of Jackson County, which does include Scottsboro. It includes Fort Payne and Gunnersville. This out till 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Wind gusts of 60 miles an hour, moving east at 50. Give me 1 second. Hey, Matt. Do me a favor. Can you ask Master Control why they're not here in the morning there? Yeah, I'll do the same. All right. Thanks, man. Because it just updated to include 2 more counties. So again, there's that warning. That's for southern parts of Jackson and DeKalb County. That goes all the way to the Georgia state line. So again, we're going to be in that 11:30 to midnight time frame where it could be lining up here right along the Georgia-Alabama border. Mainly for that line right there. You see where it kind of curls out there? Let me pause it. It's right here. See, it kind of bows out there a little bit. Sometimes when it does that, you can get those strong straight line winds right along that apex. So that's why there's those warnings right along that line right there. Let's take a look inside that line with our scope. Again, it's a curved line. It's not exactly a straight line, kind of curved, but you got to keep an eye on any of these little, it's mainly straight line winds for now, but you got to keep an eye on anything that quickly spins up. But these straight line wind gusts are quite strong. It's an abrupt change too, with gusts upwards of 60, but mainly for right now, it's straight line winds. But you can see how it does curl out or bow out just a little bit. Typically when it happens right along there, it tends to be some stronger gusts there. So let's track this right here. This will be over the next hour. All of these are in central time zone. So Valley Head around 11:20 Eastern, Fort Payne around 11:11 Eastern, Rainsville right near the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. So we're watching that part of the line move east. Again, all these areas are already raining and windy, okay? But we're dealing with that line right there that could cause some gusts as high as 60. Brandy asked a good question here, and I'm I'm going to repeat this because I'm glad she asked. Are the winds going to reduce after that line? Sorry if this has already been talked about. Sorry. No, the winds will not reduce after this. There might be a little lull, but then the winds will pick back up. So it's going to be windy before this line, windy during the line, windy afterward. Those wind advisories and high wind warnings go into tomorrow. So I'm glad you asked that question just so we keep repeating that so everybody knows that. This is a lot different than just one line of storms rolling by and it's windy and it stops. We're going to have, off and on strong gusts even through tomorrow. So 2 separate severe thunderstorm warnings because that one expired there. So we got this one for this part of southwestern Jackson County, and then this one here covering a larger part of southern Jackson and pretty much most of DeKalb. And it's because of this line right there. That's the strongest line. This one's kind of weakening a bit. Still, there are straight line winds along the path. Not quite as pronounced. You're getting close to the high top radar site here, but not quite as pronounced. But they still had a gust at the Huntsville airport right at 61 miles an hour. And there's the movement over the past hour. So it's kind of swinging by east and northeast. But, we were tracking our models earlier this evening. That was the line we were watching and watch evolve a little bit. So not surprised to see this nor the timing of it. But as you can see, again, it's going to favor more of our southern counties, but in parts of Dade, Walker, Chattooga, right around midnight, 11:30 to midnight. Be aware as this line gets closer. It just means the potential of stronger straight line winds coming in. Let me show you this also. I'll take the radar off the screen for a second. I've had a few counties added to a severe thunderstorm watch, and it's because of this advancing line. I believe Walker, Dade, Chattooga, and Floyd under that watch. That goes until 4 a.m. Eastern time. Those storms will be long gone before 4 a.m. Okay. But that was the newest severe thunderstorm watch added because of anticipation of this line coming in. So that is this new severe thunderstorm watch out. It includes DeKalb, Jackson, but I believe also Dade, Walker, Chattooga, and Floyd. So that's the reason why your alert may have gone off. The reason why is because of this line coming in. It's effective till 4 a.m. It will not last till 4 a.m. It's coming in over the next couple of hours. No, Rachel, this is more of asking if there's any tornadic activity. For the most part, this is straight line winds. As always, we're monitoring the situation, but it's not a major outbreak. If there's any tornadoes, it'd be more isolated. But we're watching that, though. But mainly for now, straight line wind gust. So, yeah, Walker, Dade, Chattooga, Floyd. That new severe thunderstorm watch out till 4 a.m. But again, it will not last through 4 a.m. I think most of that's going to pass by before 2 a.m., in fact. And asking, do I foresee that watch being extended farther east? Maybe with time, but it all depends on the severity at the moment, because the farther east this moves, it's running out of energy a bit. That's why it's kind of limited to that far east. I think the farther east it goes, it runs out of steam a little bit. But it will not usually those are issued for a 5-hour time frame. That's why it expires at 4 a.m. Eastern. But again, the threat level will be gone before that time. So again, these areas in pink, which include Dade, Walker, Chattooga, Floyd, that is a severe thunderstorm watch out till 4 a.m. Eastern. And it's all because of this line right here. That line right there. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Hope that didn't mess up the feed. I pushed the wrong button. All right. Parts of Marion County got heavy downpours coming down again with the strong gust. This is not severe, although again, anything 35, 40, 50 miles an hour, pretty rough, but 58 or higher is usually considered severe. So this is what I say when it's below severe levels. It's still windy as all get out. Heavy rain. Then we got this very narrow line there approaching the western edge of Franklin County. And that stronger line is right there. That's the strongest one. That's now kind of pivoting its way into DeKalb County. We'll keep an eye on that as that moves eastward. Let's take a look at the velocity scan in that thing. That's right over Albertville, right near the base of Sand Mountain. So again, it's still straight line winds, although kind of snakes around. So when it bows right there, the strongest gust can be right there near Albertville. And also notice the strikes of lightning picking up. Remember, it was not much happening. It was kind of to the south a bit, but starting to pick up a bit in that line. So this is where the most energy is right now. And, the favorite area locally was going to be this area anyway. But let's see how much it holds together in the next couple of hours as it starts to outpace the energy. But heads up for you folks in Lafayette and Somerville. You're on that severe thunderstorm watch now, but I would say in that time frame between 11:30 and midnight Eastern, that line will draw a little bit closer. So let's do another quick tracker on this. I believe the forward speed was east at 50. It's more east-northeast. So let's put a tracker on that. And this is over the next hour. So Somerville does show up on the tracker at 11:34 Eastern. Okay. And then you got Collinsville, about 9:55. Fort Payne, around 10:10 Central, 11:10 Eastern. Valley Head around 10:20 Eastern. As that line moves on through the heart of DeKalb County between now and the next hour. It's a very good question. Jordan asked me, random question. Do you guys have a safe room at the station for when you are under a tornado warning? Yeah, we do. If we were, by chance, hypothetically, under a tornado warning here, we would go to the hallway. Safe place in the hallway, away from windows. Lay low to the ground. If it's a last second decision, I have nowhere else to go, under the desk. But anyway, the hallways is a safe area. So we know where to go here. Yeah. Good question. You got to have a plan. Even your house got to have a plan. Let's see. Saritha says very windy in Whitwell. Winds are bad in Cleveland. Yeah, it's bad everywhere, folks. Power out in Georgetown, says Sandra. Lights flickering, Mouse Creek area of Cleveland. Colleen watching from Calhoun, Georgia. So again, I know you folks are probably awakened. Your alert went off for Dade, Walker, Chattooga, Floyd. That is for that severe thunderstorm watch out till 4 a.m. Again, that threat level won't be till 4 a.m. But it's for the same line that we're tracking right here moving to the east. Kaylee Ann asks, what's the tornado chances for Cleveland? It's pretty low. Tornado chances are low everywhere, okay? But not exactly zero, because anytime you deal with a squall line or a bowing line like that, you have to watch for a quick spin up. But overall, the chances are low for just isolated Mainly our threat levels for these straight line wind gusts. Okay. But we're watching it, monitoring that, watching that as it moves east. It says Amy says power outage in Eton. McCaskill's watching from Athens. Thank you for watching. Again, you can see around the city. Hear the roar on the roof a little bit here. Rain already moving in. It's wind-driven rain, so it's not good for driving around. But, wind gusts are 35, 45 with the rain out there. But none of this is severe in nature as far as a severe storm. And there are the 2 active warnings locally for that particular line there. We were over the southern part of Jackson, but then the other part of Jackson, which includes Scottsboro, under this broad warning area here, because that bowing, look at that thing bowing right there. See that? Boy, it keeps bowing more and more right there. That has a very high potential of some strong gusts there. And that is almost right on the border with DeKalb County. See that bows out like that. You typically tend to have right at the apex there some of those stronger gusts. So heads up in Crossville, heads up on Sand Mountain, because this is now on Sand Mountain near Albertville, going up Fife and eventually Fort Payne. He's dropped down to the valley there. Let's keep an eye on that. That's got a very strong line potential. The warning is out for wind gusts up to 60, but I don't like the way that's bowing out like that. It's intensifying a bit. All right, we'll come back to that momentarily. Let me show you the wind gusts out there. Everybody's talking about the wind, and 2 things. It's both a windy and warm night out there. Temperatures are in the 60s locally. They'll ease back to the 50s with the rain overnight, but not cold at all. This time tomorrow night it'll be colder. You can see the wind gusts there, and you can see right where that line is right there. Pop the cursor there. See where that line is right there? That's where it reaches. It goes up a bit. So it's already between 30, 40, near 60 miles an hour. And then right along that line, it jumps. Okay. It pushes it up to that next level, severe level, where it's above 58 miles an hour. And then back behind it, it's still windy. It goes back to this level on the other side of that line. So to answer your questions, when people have been asking, is it just, once the rain stops, will the wind end? No, the wind will still be with us even after the rain pushes out and more wind tomorrow. So Glenda asked what time for Cleveland, Chattanooga. I think in Chattanooga, closer to midnight, that line getting closer around midnight. I'd say Cleveland between 12 and 1, between 12 and 1 a.m. At least where you have stronger straight line wind gusts. I think that part of that stronger line is going to stay south. Now, again, we've got a lot of high wind warnings out. These are non-storm related high wind warnings. So this is even without a storm through tomorrow. So wind gusts to 55 across northwest Georgia. Higher the storm moves by, up to 70 away from any storms. And the same thing along the plateau without any storms, 40 to 60. And there's what we're watching. We got this narrow line here approaching now Franklin County. This has been a little bit less severe. That's been the stronger one right there. That one is entering this right along the border with DeKalb County. And that was a little bit more narrow. It's got some nasty wind with it, but it's staying below severe levels in the northern part of it. So over here, west of Franklin County, not under any warning. There's an advisory for wind gusts up to 50, but not too bad. But it's this one right here, where it borders Fort Payne, or DeKalb County and Jackson County, Scottsboro, Fort Payne, eventually Somerville, Lafayette. Heads up as this moves mainly to the east. So I think if you drew a line here from, say, Lafayette and south, keep an eye on that as that line draws closer in the next hour. I'd say around, say, 11:30 along the Georgia-Alabama border. So 11:30 to midnight, right around in here. Okay. Let me check the EPB site here. Let's just kind of give us a gauge of power outages. Let's see. Now, this is just EPB service area. I'm just giving you an example. So at the current moment, about 1,500 customers affected and 5 repairs in progress. And hats off to those men and women who worked the lines tonight out in the elements. We thank them for what they do, but please be very careful because the conditions are awful out there tonight with the wind and rain trying to fix those lines. But we appreciate everything they do. Everybody across the area, all the linemen, the men and women make up those teams. They do a great job for us. And there's that line approaching the southern part of both Jackson and DeKalb County. Again, that warning is out till 11:30 Eastern. Wind gusts still upwards at about 60 miles an hour, even a little penny-sized hail. We haven't had a lot of hail with these storms, but it's possible with that. So lightning, thunder with that as well. Let's take a look along that line. Yeah, see the changing color from blue to green? See, that's a straight line wind gust. Even where it curls out, it could be just a bit stronger where it kind of bows out there, kind of stretches like a rubber band. So we're looking at the winds within that. It still seems to be more straight line. That's still going to be pretty powerful. All right. TriStar. Love a good bow echo sometimes. Well, yeah, the bow echoes are impressive to look on radar. You don't want to be underneath one or have one approaching you. And again, with this is not quite as defined. Yeah, you can still see the color schemes will be different. We see the straight line differential here, right there. Strong gust in advance of it. You can see it's more of a straight line nature. So not quite as pronounced. Not quite as pronounced as that bow echo. So the main warning locally is for that one for Jackson and DeKalb County. That's out until the bottom of the half hour, right? Yeah, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. And folks, we're going to be here. It's coming up on 10 till 11. Now we have News Channel 9 at 11, where we'll continue our storm coverage, of course. But I think that newscast may be delayed because of the president's speech. He's still talking right now, I believe. Unless they're showing highlights. So if he's still talking, then it'll be delayed, the newscast. So we'll keep going on this stream until I get sort of the 5 to 10 minute cue. And then we'll shift gears and go on air. So you can watch us there or watch our live stream at newschannel9.com. So you stay on your mobile device if you want to. You don't have, just kind of switching the channel there a little bit on your mobile device. And then after our 11 o'clock newscast, we'll resume on this live stream. So it might be a little switching around over the next hour or so, but we'll keep you updated. Let's see. Destiny says gusts are crazy. It'll be calm for 5 minutes and then gusty again. Hello, Kay from Jasper. Patricia says strong winds in Tunnel Hill. Christy says wind is horrible. Sugar Valley, Dalton area. Janice says winds are bad in Ocoee. Horrendous. That's a good way to put it. And again, just want to update you on the watch out there. Severe thunderstorm watch out. I'll put this up on the screen for parts of northwest Georgia. That's out to 4 a.m. Eastern. Again, the threat level won't last that long, but Walker, Dade, Chattooga, and Floyd out until 4 o'clock Eastern. Again, the threat will be passed there before 4 a.m., but that's the reason why your alert radios went off in that area a short while ago. That was issued around 10:28, about a half hour ago. Just got a heads up from the Storm Prediction Center. The reason why they issued that. And it's all because of the same thing. It's because of this potential storm threat right here. We'll have to see how far the severe threat lasts. Will it hold together? It's kind of outpacing the front, as I mentioned, kind of running out of steam a little bit, but we'll see how far it holds together. But for now, with it bowing like that, it's still pretty strong. But again, in areas outside this line, it's windy everywhere. Okay, it's windy everywhere with the rain. It just gets peaked a little bit more along that line. And it's still windy back behind this. So as the rain tapers off west of I-65, it's still windy in those areas. This again shows you the gusts out there. Any moment now. There we go. And you can see with the rain coming down, 28, 30 in the city, close to 60 in Crossville, 40 Cleveland, Athens, 44 Chatsworth, close to 40 Winchester. And then right there, it's a little bit stronger. And then back behind that line, it resumes back to these speeds. So that is why all of these high wind warnings and wind advisories are in effect. So covers all these in orange are the high wind warnings, the wind advisory, the area shaded in brown. So the wind advisory is a peak gust up to 45. That's strong enough. But it goes to another level, 40 to 60 in these areas. These are non-storm related gusts, okay? Up to 55 across northwest Georgia, and really those higher peaks out there a bit stronger. Zachary says it has to be 50 plus in Ooltewah. It may be, yeah. I'm sure if you had an anemometer out there, you could see. But yeah, we've already had gust at the airport of 44 today, so I'm sure many valley spots could be stronger than that. It's howling out there. And you get some of those, take the Sequatchie Valley, for example. Get any of these valleys that align up with the winds coming in from the southeast. But I think the Sequatchie Valley, more if it's a southwesterly wind, it could get channeled in there and a bit stronger. But if you have a southeast pocket or valley pocket, you get channeled in there, funneled in there, you will get those stronger gusts there. Here we go. How close is that? All right, now we're getting close to Collinsville and Scottsboro. Man, that thing's still bowing there. Let's keep an eye on this dude. From Scottsboro, so it kind of rotating just a bit. It's kind of rotating on that line just a bit. That's some rough stuff. Scottsboro to 5 to Geraldine. So now you're on Sand Mountain here. You're off Sand Mountain, that part of Jackson County. So this is the strongest storm locally at the moment. That's why that severe thunderstorm warning is out in the same area from Scottsboro 5, Fort Payne to Henniger. And these are areas on Sand Mountain now. Do a velocity scan. Still straight line winds are near Geraldine. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. A little bit of that part of the line kind of rotating a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that from Scottsboro to Fife, that Jackson to Cobb County border. Still got a punch to it. North of this, again, that line entering Franklin County is there are statements, advisories along it, but not warnings along that line. And notice the southern flank of this, that's south of DeKalb County, over Etowah County near Gadsden, has a severe thunderstorm warning along it as well. So let's take where it is now. Let's put a tracker on it. I've had folks asking about Lafayette. Now, please, come back here. Trying to get a cursor and it erased it. Well, let's just do it again. Sometimes you have to do it again. I had folks asking about Lafayette. Keep in mind, some of these are expirations Central Time, others Eastern Time. So Lafayette around 11:46. We mentioned 11:30 to midnight, so kind of at that time frame. Somerville, 11:40. Lafayette around 11:46. So again, 11:30 to midnight. Probably crossing this Georgia-Alabama border around 11:30. So 11:30 to midnight. Dade, Walker, parts of Chattooga as that line moves in. And that's where the straight line wind gusts can get a little bit stronger, heavier downpours of rain, and it'll cause a wind shift. Because again, we're getting the gusts right now coming in from the southeast, and the wind gusts will turn around, coming a bit more from the west and southwest. So trees that have been the limbs knocked around and the trees bending, like kind of torqued a little bit in other directions. So that could cause some more tree damage and power outages, even some property damage with that. Aha. They just issued that new warning for Dade, Walker, and Chattooga. If your alert just went off in these counties, here's why. And it's because of this line that we just tracked. All right. No surprise here. Severe thunderstorm warning out for Chattooga, Dade, and Walker County till 11:45 Eastern. All right. And again, it's for this storm that could cause wind gusts up to 60. And it's radar indicated. So wind damage, roof, siding, trees. Here's some of the county or some of the cities, cities and communities included in this. Lafayette, Somerville, Trenton, Fort Oglethorpe, Rossville, Chickamauga, Tryon, Lookout Mountain, Georgia, Chattanooga Valley, Flintstone area, Lafayette, Menlo, Center Post, Fairview, Cloudland, and the Cloudland Canyon area. Those are two different areas. And Cooper Heights. So again, if your alert just went off, new severe thunderstorm warning now for Dade, Walker, Chattooga to 11:45, roughly the next 45 minutes. And again, is for what we just tracked. It's this exact same line of storms coming in out of Alabama, right here, moving to the east. They're estimating the speed at around 60. So we'll back this up just a little bit. And let's track this line for you. We'll go to forward speed just a little faster. So again, notice Central versus Eastern time again. So Scottsboro now. I don't know why I included it on there. It's over at now. But I was saying Scottsboro being a safe place with the strong wind gusts, but right now it's over you. Fort Payne in the next few minutes, next 10 minutes roughly. We're at the top of the hour now, 10 o'clock Central, around 10:11 Central. Trenton, around 11:30 Eastern. So again, crossing the Georgia-Alabama border around 11:30. Lafayette, again, that roughly 11:40 time frame. And we've got East Ridge in here. It could be right on the Georgia-Tennessee border. East Ridge around 11:46 Eastern time. So again, it puts it around the city, Chattanooga, 11:30 to midnight. And that's been a kind of general time frame for the past hour during this live stream. It's meant for this line right there. See how much it holds together. But wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour possible with this. So again, that's why your alerts went off in Dade, Walker, Chattooga for that new severe thunderstorm warning out till 11:45 Eastern. Let's take a look at some of the storm reports. Let's check out some of the wind speed estimates. Here's out of northern DeKalb, northern Jackson. So around close to 9 p.m. Central. Tree down on Highway 117 and County Road 14. That's in Stevenson. Has some trees down there. This also in Jackson County near Pisgah. Trees down. That was at 9 o'clock Central. That was this afternoon. That's in the New Moon community there, Cherokee County, 324. So that's been a little bit earlier in the day. Just about a little over an hour ago in Naomi, in Walker County, Maisonette Station, 45 mile an hour gust there. That was it about an hour ago. So that's not even associated with the storm. Hey, Kelvin. How you doing, man? I'm doing okay, buddy. Trying to hold down the fort here with all this weather coming in. Let's see. This is at Murray County near Conasauga Lake about 7 o'clock earlier today. A wind gust of about 60. So again, those gusts were well before any storms arrived. All right. So that gives you an idea of some of the storm reports. Let's check this one. That's a new one near Fort Payne, I believe. No, about an hour ago. Oh, goodness. Tree down on a car in Fort Payne. Hope nobody was in the car. That was at 9:24 Central in DeKalb County. I don't like hearing that. All right. There's the line that we're watching there. Little less of the lightning thunder, at least over the past few minutes. There you can see, still across DeKalb County, it's mainly a straight line wind flow there. Curls just a bit, kind of where the end of the line is. But you got to watch that. Kind of where it's bounded there. We'll keep an eye on that between Scottsboro and Fort Payne. And again, north of here, for you folks near Mount Eagle and Swanee, this has some gusts with it, up about 50. It's below severe levels. 58 is that threshold. But still, that's enough to, again, knock down some trees, power outages, and heavy rain with that. So we got intense rain picking up along with the wind. And then, of course, the stronger gusts still on that line. See, Josie says multiple trees down in Cleveland, power out. And at least 2 fires in different parts of the town. I don't like to hear that. Yeah, folks, I would say right now, based on the wind, the rain, and this line coming in, keep your mobile device charged as long as possible. So if you do lose power, you can still have our feed. And let me tell you again, okay, the president has finished his speech. So that means in a short while, we'll start our News Channel 9 at 11 delayed a bit. And because of that delay, we'll have to switch sources. We'll stop this feed, but you can watch us on your mobile device. Just go to newschannel9.com and hit the live feed, okay? And you can watch our newscast, and then we'll start a new feed on our web stream after 11:35. Well, in this case, about 11:45. Either way, you can still watch us. So once that feed ends, you can join us again for another feed. So it may require some changing of your streams a little bit, but you can still watch us on your mobile device or on TV if you want to. Either way. So again, the main area of concern right now is that line right there, pushing through now near Scottsboro, getting close to Eider, Fort Payne, Rainsville, this area of Sand Mountain from Geraldine to Rainsville. And that it's caused an upstream warning for Dade, Walker, Chattooga. That includes Chickamauga, Rising Fawn, Trenton, Somerville, Tryon, Cloudland, Menlo, also 11:45 Eastern. So it'll be right along the Georgia-Alabama border, 11:30 to midnight. And that would put it, again, between 11:30 and midnight, right near Chattanooga and south of the city. So right in this area, right in here. I'm going to check the timing of our newscast coming up. Guys, do we have a time estimate on newscast, or are they doing a wrap up?
He's gotten off the East Labs. So.
Okay. All they got to do is response? Okay. Okay. Thanks. Just keep me posted. I'm going to keep the stream going until we start the newscast. So I just checked. They're doing so the president has finished his part of the speech, and then the Democratic rebuttal is going on, about to start. So we'll have that, and then potentially our newscast starting. So it's going to be delayed. We're right now at about 10 after 11. I would imagine at the earliest we go on around 11:30. So we'll keep this live stream going until that time. All right, for you folks on Sand Mountain, Powell to Fife. That's where that nasty line is rolling by. So it's a very powerful wind gust there. The wind probably picking up here into the valley near Fort Payne. Got the Pine Ridge area right there. Got Henniger right here in Mentone. So all this area on Sand Mountain, you drop down to the valley there, which is right where I-59 goes, right in between Lookout and Sand Mountain. So very strong wind gusts coming up and across that. Sand Mountain's a very flat plateau, so it can cause some very strong winds there. But again, the wind estimate in these areas runs up to 60 with that line moving through. You can see again, straight line wind gusts there just passed through Fife and Powell, headed toward Fort Payne. And now just northeast of Powell, that's gust rolled by and headed toward Henniger. Let's see. Lauren says lightning picking up in Henniger and thunder too. And you can see that right. Good call there. See that two lightning strikes in Henniger? So it's a little loud along with the wind. See, Barbara says electricity out in Cleveland off of Paul Huff Parkway. Now, again, outside of where that storm is, it's moderate to heavy downpours and windy all over the place. Same thing in Whitwell, Rutley Logger, Pikeville. These are heavy downpours, non-severe, but, it's accompanied by a gust of 35 to 45. Below the severe threshold, but still pretty nasty out there. And that goes all the way north, all the way to Crossville. Look how fast those bursts of rain are moving. Northeast around 50 to 60 miles an hour. I mean, the rain will help the wildfire situation, there's a benefit there because the winds have not been helping. The low humidity has not been helping, but the rain will help. If it lasts a little while longer, it'd help a bit more. Candace asked, what about 6 in the morning around the Dayton area? The rain will be long gone by then. Yeah, most of this will be pushing out of our eastern counties by 2:30. Yeah, 2 to 3, so to speak, but out of the city before then. Okay. No, it will not be lasting that long into the night, but I think it'll be dry at 6 a.m., but there's some showers back during the afternoon tomorrow. Not severe. Let me check for an update. I'm using a different screen here, checking for a different update on that particular cell. No, they don't have an update on that yet. Let's see. All right. And again, there's that other narrow part of that line right here. That's got some sneaky wind gusts with that because I don't want to sneak up on you. That's why I'm here. Gusts up to 50 are possible there. That's approaching Mount Eagle, Swanee, that part of Franklin County before you get to Mount Eagle, going from west to east, and then eventually across Grundy to Marion County. So keep an eye on those gusts. That line is not as strong as this line is right there. So look how that cell stays right in the polygon there. It's amazing. But it actually overlaps on the Highway 72 north of there. But again, if you're anywhere near even the boundary of the polygon, be aware of that. But heads up eventually toward Trenton, Lafayette, Somerville as this line draws closer. Let's do another tracker for you. I don't think the timing has changed that much, if at all. All right. Again, notice Central versus Eastern. So Fort Payne in the next few minutes, next 5 minutes. Valley Head at 10:23 Central. It's 11:23 Eastern. Lafayette still right around that 11:40 time. It's kind of held on to just maybe 1 or 2 minute fluctuation in the past few scans we've done. Armurchie around 11:51. They're right at midnight Dalton. So again, that puts it, this part of the line south of the city, around the city and south, right in that 11:30 to midnight time frame. So crossing the state line probably around 11:30, and again into Dade, Walker, that part of Chattooga, where that severe thunderstorm warning is out till 11:45. Allison asked, what about Chickamauga? Allison, you're under severe thunderstorm warning there in Chickamauga till 11:45 Eastern. There's that line coming in, and I would say around 11:30, 11:40, when that line will be approaching near Chickamauga with some stronger gust and more heavy rain. Okay, it's more of a straight line wind threat. Some gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour possible. Now let's see. Let's see if they've issued an update on that warning there. That's the old advisory. I'm just on a different screen here. Multitasking. All right. Check here. I keep turning my head, checking the screen here because the Democratic rebuttal is going on right now. Once that ends, they'll probably turn us over to our newscast. So I'm approximating right before 11:30. We'll start our newscast on News Channel 9. So this stream will end shortly. We'll stay here for a little while longer. But then you can stay on your mobile device and go to newschannel9.com and click on Watch Live. And you can watch your mobile device. Once our newscast ends, rejoin us back. You get an alert from our Facebook page and our YouTube page alerting you that we have started another live stream. Okay, so you may have to switch channels a little bit, but we'll keep you posted all throughout this. So we'll be on live as soon as that speech is over there. So to go over the warnings that we have at the moment, we have this severe thunderstorm warning out for Jackson and DeKalb out till 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, roughly for the next 15 minutes. And then until 11:45, it'll probably take a little longer than 11:45 Eastern to clear this polygon here. But for that part of Chattooga, Dade, and Walker, severe thunderstorm warning out till 11:45. It's due in part to the same line of storms, wind gust potential upwards of 60 miles an hour. So that line right there. And it's mainly a straight line wind threat there, right there at Fort Payne. That's right, that gust front passing right through Fort Payne now. We haven't seen, where it kind of curls back a bit. You have to kind of watch that. We have not seen any, changes to that. It's right along the Jackson-DeKalb County border. But it shows a stronger gust will be getting closer to Dade and Chattooga County border right near 11:30 or just shortly before that. And then north of this area, across Franklin and approaching Grundy County, this is non-severe, but is extremely windy. It's extremely windy everywhere. So I don't want you to lose sight of that. And again, these gusts could be upwards of 40 to 50. That's still causing damage as well. So again, it's windy in advance this line, windy in the line, windy behind the line. Okay. All right. Folks, I just got the alert that we're about to go on live for our News Channel 9 11 newscast. We're going to end this stream right now. But our coverage continues because I'm about to go live on TV. All right. Then we'll start a new web stream after the newscast, which will be roughly right before midnight. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Join me coming up on our newscast, and we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everybody.